Have you ever felt like, no matter where you go in your house, there's always a pair of eyes watching you? You walk into the kitchen to pour a glass of water, and when you turn around there, it is. You're sitting on the porch, enjoying the breeze, and within seconds your dog quietly appears by your side. Even when you're just walking down the hallway, you can hear the soft patter of footsteps behind you. At first you might think it's just curiosity, or maybe just a habit. But what if I told you that these seemingly small check-ins actually carry a much deeper meaning? For millions of dog owners, especially middle-aged and older men, this behavior isn't just a cute little quirk. It's more like a mirror, a reflection of loyalty, affection, and a love that's never fake. Maybe you're a retired firefighter who's stared danger in the face, a veteran who's carried the weight of service, or just a man who lost his life partner and now shares his home with a loyal dog. When your dog looks at you, when it follows your every move, it's not just a blank stare. It's a silent conversation. I see you. You're still here, right? Please don't leave me. In this video, we're diving into 8 surprising reasons why your dog always seems to be watching you. Some reasons are simple, like their love for daily routines or how they try to bring joy back into your life with a game. Others are heavier, rooted in anxiety, aging, or even their uncanny ability to sense illness before we ever do. And some reach deep into instinct, pack protection, and a kind of unconditional companionship we call love. What's truly special is that when you really explore these reasons, you'll see it's not just about dogs, it's about us too. About how they pull us out of silence, help us stay grounded when life gets shaky, and remind us that we're never really alone. By the time we get through all 9 reasons, you'll understand that every glance, every nudge with that cold, wet nose, every quiet step behind you is never random. It's proof of a bond written in loyalty, emotion, and even science. So let's begin. The first reason might sound simple: routine and predictability. But you'll be surprised to learn that buried in those small habits is something sacred. Before we start, don't forget to leave a comment. Reason number 1, routine and predictability. If you think your dog is watching you just for fun, remember, routine is the foundation of security for dogs. In their world, whatever happens over and over becomes a sure sign that everything is okay, nothing has changed, and the pack is safe. Imagine this: you're a man living alone after retirement. Every morning you sip your coffee in the same familiar chair. At night you pull the same old blanket over your legs. Your dog sees this, remembers it, and treats it like a life schedule. If you stray even slightly from that rhythm, your dinner is a few minutes late, or you forget to turn on the TV at the usual time, your dog will show up giving you that questioning look as if to say, "Is everything okay? You didn't forget." Did you studies show that dogs are incredibly observant? They can recognize the sound of a specific drawer opening, the shoes you usually wear when leaving the house, even the soft click when you place your coffee mug on the table. These repeated cues tell them the world is under control. And when one is missing, they'll check in just to make sure life's rhythm hasn't skipped a beat. But here's the fascinating part. Often you train them to check on you without even realizing it. Every time they peek into the room and you smile, pat their head, or say something kind, it feels like a reward. So the check-in becomes a shared habit, a silent agreement: "I'm here to see you." And your look, your smile becomes the gentle reply: "I see you too." For older men, especially those living in quiet homes, those glances become the heartbeat of life. Day by day, even if no one calls or visits, they know there's still a living soul who's watching, always reminding them that they're needed, that they're still an important part of this small but meaningful rhythm. Of course, not every look comes from habit. Sometimes when your dog quietly checks in on you, it's not about reassurance or reward. It's looking for something deeper, a spark of connection, an invitation back to joy. And that brings us to the second reason. Reason number 2, play and connection. Have you ever been sitting in silence, your mind drifting to distant memories, when suddenly a small paw rests gently on your arm, or maybe an old tattered toy suddenly appears right beneath your chair? Many people assume their dog just wants to play. But behind those seemingly innocent invitations lies a much deeper message. Please don't disappear into the silence, come back to me. For a dog, playtime isn't just about fun. It's an emotional lifeline, a way to maintain a living bond between two souls. When you toss the ball, when you laugh at its clumsy little antics, you're not just playing with your dog, you're feeding your own spirit too. Dogs through instinct understand that silence held too long can swallow a person whole, and they won't let that happen. Especially for men who have spent years working hard or for those who have lost a life, partner loneliness can linger like a heavy shadow. Your dog feels that. It follows you from room to room, not because it's begging for fetch, but because it needs to know you're still here, still capable of smiling. Think back to a moment you sat quietly for too long and suddenly heard a soft thump, that familiar toy dropped at your feet. Those bright, shining eyes are asking, "Are you still here? Do you still want to live this life with me?" And the second you smile, lean down and toss it away. That invisible thread between you pulls tighter than ever. But play is also a test. Every time your dog brings you a toy, it's checking, do you still want to connect? Are you still mine? And when you respond even with just a nod or a gentle toss, you're saying, yes, I'm still here. We're still in this together. But not every check-in comes from joy. Sometimes there's no wagging tail, no toy in sight. It might come in the middle of the night as your dog stands silently by your bed, eyes full of quiet worry. In that moment, what draws it to you isn't happiness, it's a fear it can't explain. And that brings us to the third reason. Reason number 3, anxiety and Velcro Dog Syndrome. Have you ever walked into the kitchen only to turn around and find your dog right behind you? Or shut the bathroom door, then opened it to see them waiting? Maybe late at night, you shift in bed and suddenly feel a cold nose gently press against your arm. This isn't coincidence. It's something known as Velcro Dog Syndrome, a form of anxiety seen in many dogs, especially those who've been abandoned or left to live in loneliness. For rescue dogs, the fear of being left behind runs deep. They've known cages loss and people who disappeared and never came back. So when they finally find you, there's only one thought in their minds: please don't leave me. And so they check in, again and again, until they're worn out because only your presence can calm the storm inside them. But it's not just rescue dogs that experience this. Even dogs raised in loving homes can develop clinginess, especially when their owner's life suddenly changes. You retire and spend more time at home, or maybe you've just lost a spouse. That empty space, you feel it, and so does your dog. They cling to you, follow every step, because to them, losing you would be the biggest loss of all. Here's the heartbreaking part. Sometimes this behavior isn't just about soothing themselves, it's a silent plea. You're not going to leave me, too. Right. Every look, every step at your heel echoes that question over and over again throughout the day. For men who've faced combat, lost loved ones, or spent years in quiet isolation, this can hit deeply. Because in those eyes, there's more than just love. There's also a fear, one so deep it aches. A fear that if you disappear, their entire world will collapse. And here's what you need to remember. If your dog is checking in on you obsessively more than usual, it might be a sign of separation anxiety. This is not something to ignore. It requires understanding, comfort, and sometimes even help from a vet or behavior specialist. But not every glance is driven by fear. Sometimes that look is a warning, a subtle signal that something inside your dog isn't quite right. And that brings us to the fourth reason. Reason number 4, health issues. Not every time your dog checks on you is about routine or anxiety. Sometimes it's a quiet warning about their own health. Have you noticed that older dogs tend to stick closer to their owners? Their eyes often look a little uneasy, sometimes even lost. According to research from the Dog Aging Project, which studied over 15,000 dogs, the risk of developing canine cognitive dysfunction, essentially doggy dementia, increases by more than 50% with each passing year. That means the older they get, the more likely they are to feel confused, disoriented, and unsure. And in those moments, the only thing that feels safe is you. But it's not just memory issues. Chronic pain, like from arthritis, can also cause dogs to pause and look at you before moving. In their minds, your presence is an anchor, something that helps them feel safe enough to take another painful step. Dogs with epilepsy often cling to their owners too. They instinctively understand that when a seizure hits, you're the only one who can help. Even small changes like diminished hearing or fading vision can make a dog more clingy. When they can't hear clearly or see well anymore, they rely on your every move to know their world hasn't spun out of control. And here's the part many people don't want to face. Dogs often sense changes inside their own bodies long before we do. When your dog stares at you, when it sticks to your side, it's not always about love or worry. Sometimes it's silently begging something's wrong. Don't leave me alone with it. For older men, especially those who see their dog as their closest companion, this hits hard. Because just like your dog once sensed your sadness or illness, now it's your turn to notice the signs in them. A strange look, a slower step, an increased need to check in. Don't brush it off. It might be a silent cry for help, the only way your dog knows how to say I'm hurting. But not every check-in comes from illness or weakness. Sometimes that look focused right on you isn't asking for healing. It's looking for strength. Strength only you can offer. And that brings us to the next reason. Number 5. Emotional synchrony. Have you ever noticed that when you're feeling down, your dog just lies beside you, resting its head on your leg? And when you're cheerful, it instantly perks up, tail wagging with joy. That's not coincidence. It's something called emotional synchrony, a powerful connection that allows dogs to mirror their owner's emotional state. A 2019 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that long-term stress levels in dogs often align with those of their owners. In other words, when you're anxious, their bodies produce stress hormones too. When you're calm, they relax alongside you. Scientists call this phenomenon emotional contagion, the transfer of emotions between individuals. Picture this: a retired firefighter has just lost his life partner. In those first weeks, he sits in silence, barely speaking. The once lively Labrador beside him grows quiet too, lying close every night with eyes that seem to echo the same loneliness. The dog isn't sick. It's simply feeling with him, existing in the emotional rhythm that its human carries. What's remarkable is that this connection isn't just based on watching your behavior. Dogs can read your body language, tone of voice, and even your scent. Small changes in your breathing, the smell of your sweat, or even a shift in your gaze, these all act as signals your dog instantly picks up on. So when it checks in on you, it's really asking, "Are you okay? I feel something in you." For many older men, this kind of bond is both comforting and humbling, because your dog doesn't just live with you, it lives in sync with you. It senses each shift in mood as if it were an extension of you. So when it gazes into your eyes or quietly lies down by your side in moments of stillness, it's reminding you you're never truly alone in what you feel. And remember, when your dog checks in during moments like these, it's not asking for food or a walk. It needs nothing from you. Just a gentle pat or a nod of acknowledgement is enough. To your dog, that simple act says, "I see you. Thank you for being here with me." But emotional bonds aren't the only reason dogs check on us. Sometimes these quiet glances come from something deeper, an extraordinary ability to detect illness in humans. And that brings us to the next reason. Reason number 6. The ability to detect illness in their owners. You may have heard strange stories about dogs detecting cancer or diabetes, sometimes even before doctors do. It sounds unbelievable, but science confirms it's real. And sometimes when your dog keeps checking on you or stares at you in silence, it's not about routine or affection. It's because they're sensing something unusual in your body. According to a study published in Scientific Reports, dogs can detect changes in volatile organic compounds, VOCs, in human breath or sweat when illness is present. Some trained dogs can identify lung or breast cancer with over 90% accuracy. Similarly, diabetic alert dogs can smell when their owner's blood sugar drops to a dangerous level and sound the alarm in time. Imagine this. A middle-aged man, usually healthy, starts feeling tired lately. He brushes it off as aging, but his dog starts acting differently, checking on him several times a day, sitting closer than usual, even blocking his path as if trying to get his attention. Months later, he's diagnosed with a heart condition. Looking back, he realizes his dog was trying to warn him all along. This doesn't mean that every time your dog stares at you something's wrong, but it's clear dogs have an incredibly sharp ability to detect biological changes. So if one day your dog begins to check on you more often than usual, especially if it's accompanied by strange behavior like gentle pawing, soft barking, or refusing to leave your side, treat it as a serious reminder to check your health. For older men who've grown used to thinking "I'm fine," this canine sensitivity can be a lifesaver. Dogs can't speak, but through their eyes and their quiet check-ins, they can send a message louder than words. Please take care of yourself. And then you realize every look, every quiet inspection isn't just concern from a four-legged friend. It's a kind of ancient instinct, a protective force focused solely on you, because in your dog's world, you are everything. And that leads us to the next reason. When your dog checks on you, it's not just for its own safety, it's making sure you are at safe place too. Reason number 7. The need for safety. In a dog's world, safety doesn't come from tall walls or locked doors. It doesn't come from fences or alarm systems either. For them, the only real sense of safety comes from you. When your dog checks on you, that look isn't just curiosity. It's their way of calming themselves. Everything's okay, because you're still here. A strange noise in the yard, a sudden gust of wind rattling the window, or even an unusual silence in the house, all of these can trigger unease, and their instinct is to find you immediately. Remember, dogs are pack animals. In the wild, sticking close to the pack leader meant survival. As pups, they stayed near their mother. As adults, they followed their leader for signs of safety. In your home, you are that leader. Every time your dog follows you from room to room or pops its head in just to make sure you're still there, it's saying, "You're my anchor." This image is especially common among men who once worked long-haul jobs like truck drivers or remote site laborers. When they return home, they often see that steady gaze from their dog, as if the world finally snapped back into place. For the dog, your presence is the calm in the storm. When you're there, even the loudest chaos becomes harmless. And here's what's truly moving. Sometimes these check-ins aren't just about your dog feeling safe. They're also its way of making sure you're safe too. It's not just seeking protection from you, it's offering it in return. This is the beautiful exchange between trust and responsibility, a never-ending circle of connection. So next time you notice your dog quietly watching you, don't dismiss it as clingy or annoying. It's how they calm their own nerves. And it's how they gently remind you, "You're not alone. I'm here." But sometimes checking in isn't just about safety. It comes from something even deeper, an instinct to protect. And when that happens, your dog isn't just watching, it's guarding. And that's the next reason. Reason number 8. Protective instinct. Deep within every dog's heart, whether small and gentle or bold and powerful, burns a flame that never goes out, the instinct to protect. It's more than loyalty. It's a command written into their bloodline. Passed down from their wolf ancestors. To survive, they must protect their pack. Have you ever noticed your dog pausing at the doorway or standing watch while you move around the house? To you, it may seem like a small action, but to your dog, it's a duty, a silent vigil. When they check on you, that look in their eyes says more than concern. It's a quiet promise. Nothing will touch you while I'm here. Science backs up how powerful this instinct really is. Studies show nearly 50% of dogs will try to rescue their owner if they hear them calling for help, even without training. That number climbs to nearly 70% in trained rescue dogs. Protection isn't something they learn. It's something they're born with. For those who've spent their lives protecting others, veterans, firefighters, or anyone who's ever stood guard, this connection hits deep, because now you see a reflection of yourself in your dog's eyes. It's not just a companion. It's your loyal sentinel ready to stand between you and the world. One man shared how he used to be startled by his dog sitting silently in the yard, staring into the distance. At first he thought it was just curiosity, but later he realized it was watchfulness. The dog was scanning every sound, every shadow, standing guard to make sure its person stayed safe. So each time your dog checks on you, it's not always just to see if you're still there. It may be placing itself between you and whatever lies beyond, and in that glance is a whisper, "You're safe, I'm here." And when you strip away all the reasons, routine, fun, fear, illness, emotional connection, or instinct, you reach the deepest layer, the simplest and most sacred reason of all, the reason every glance, every quiet step behind you, every sigh at your feet shares the same name, love. So now we've walked through 8 surprising reasons your dog can't stop checking on you. From small daily routines and innocent games to hidden fears, health signals, emotional bonds, and primal instincts, it all leads to one quiet truth: love and connection. Next time your dog peeks into the room for just a second before walking away, pause. Let that moment remind you of the invisible thread between two souls. Smile. Reach out your hand. Whisper something kind. Because sometimes those tiny seconds are what build the greatest kind of love. And now I'd love to hear your story. Does your dog check in on you too? Have you ever noticed that look at a meaningful time in your life? Share it in the comments. Your story could be a memory, or the comfort someone else out there is quietly searching for in their own dog's eyes. If this video helped you see your dog in a new light, don't forget to hit subscribe. Our journey into the heart of dogs is far from over. You've seen how deeply your dog loves you. Now's the time to learn how to cherish them back so you never break that trust. Go find your dog after this video, because there's a good chance it's already looking for you. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe so we can keep exploring the hearts of dogs together.